So today we have Melissa Bollinger,
Boland.
Boland
Yeah.
from Lexington, Kentucky. Melissa is the owner of Four Legger. This is a clean dog grooming product. She is very passionate about creating skin safe products, but you guys all know that skin's your largest organ. So skin is a big deal. And so Melissa's posted on Facebook the other day, I think maybe even today, that it is her 10-year anniversary of being cancer free. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's a miracle. We want to hear all about it. So how did you end up being four-legger?
Well, it was a journey. This is actually my third career in life, and it's not one that I ever envisioned happening. But now, in hindsight, when you can see how God leads you through different stages and experiences in your life, the other two were ones that I loved, absolutely loved. Both of them I would still be doing if not for this. But I see now that those were things that I needed to do in order to gain skills to be able to do what I'm supposed to do, which is have four-legger. So this is actually also the 10th anniversary of Four-Leggers launch. So August is a pretty big month this year, especially with my 10-year milestone having been reached too. So but Four-Legger started, I was an occupational therapist, was the career before this, and I worked in a number of different settings and primarily with patients with neurological conditions. So that background of anatomy and physiology and just health care in general has been very beneficial. There's really just not that much difference between humans and and dogs and other pets. I mean, other than being, two-legged versus four-legged and that sort of thing. It's the body systems are all fairly similar. So that was a great bonus to have that coming into it. But it started, I guess, when I had a little dog named Henry Clay, him right there. He was a little toy poodle, and he was just 8 years old when he was diagnosed with cancer. And this was in 2008, and it was kind of at the beginning of the upward trend in the veterinary community noticing an uptick in canine cancer. Didn't know why anybody, nobody really knew the reasons why or anything at that point, but um, his cancer was localized in his urinary tract, which was a little bit of a weird place for it to show up, but it stayed there. He did fine. He went through a couple of surgeries. Um, he was on some medication and things like that, but he basically did really well up until just going into the third year. And at that time, he started having balance issues, equilibrium issues. He was aspirating. He had muscle weakness and a facial droop, and all symptoms that I was very well acquainted with in my work as an occupational therapist. And so we went back to the vet, and it had metastasized to his brainstem, which was just devastating to hear. And the vet said that at that point, because he was aspirating pretty severely, that he probably only had, 4 or 5 weeks maybe of quality life left. But he was my heart dog. People talk about having a heart dog these days, and I like that term, so I'll borrow it. He was my heart dog and had been with me through some really traumatic times in my life during his first 8 years. And I think he knew something that I didn't know yet. And so his 4 to 5 weeks prognosis just week after week after week turned into a 13-month long life that he had. And I believe that that is because he knew that I had cancer before I had cancer. And, we hear about things like that. We read about things like that. And, I don't doubt things like that at all. I just had never certainly experienced anything like that. And so anyway, he actually died on the morning of the day that I got the phone call in the afternoon that I had metastatic breast cancer. The same day, November 22nd, 2013. I'll never forget it. And I truly believe that he knew, and he waited as long as he had to wait until I found out. And I had a very aggressive form of cancer, and um, treatment started right away. I had to go through the whole shebang. Chemo, radiation, surgery, just everything. And my cell counts after the first round of chemo went to infection fatal status, which is as bad as it sounds. Literally, if I'd have gotten any kind of common bacteria, virus, anything, it could have been the end. Um, and it was wintertime, so there was a lot of that kind of germ floating around. But my oncologist, who happened to be a family friend from church, he knew I had other dogs at home, and so he said, you have to minimize your exposure to germs and bacteria everywhere that you can. And one way, I had to multiple ways, but one way he latched on to was knowing I had other dogs at home. He's like, you're going to have to start bathing them more.
Oh, that
Um,
would never cross my mind.
Right. Well, and it, definitely wasn't front of mind for me, but it's very true. I mean, our dogs are out walking and being petted and, going through treated yards and all this stuff that, people weren't really thinking a whole lot about at that time. And he said, you have to do that. You can't go anywhere. I was literally homebound for 3 or 4 months. He said, you can come here for treatment and that's it. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm a college graduate. I can find a good, safe shampoo product to help keep my dogs clean, and that'll just be one thing to tick off the list to do. And what I actually learned was that I was much better at being marketed to than picking out a safe product. And it it kind of made me mad because there were two other dogs at home, and within 2 weeks they were both itching and scratching and just symptoms that they'd never had before. The, part of which probably was because they didn't get that frequent of a bath before that, but it was also the ingredients in the shampoo. So that's kind of why I picked on grooming products, because that's where it hit close to home with my own dogs. And, the vet in 2008, I didn't know anything then that I know now. And so when he said that his cancer was likely, his original cancer in his urinary tract was likely caused by exposure to environmental toxins, I didn't really know enough to be impressed by that at that point, that, a traditional veterinarian would actually say something like that. So, just this whole notion of environmental toxins and ingredients in shampoo that was suddenly making my dog's skin a mess pretty much just led down a rabbit hole of doing ingredient research. And my business partner is a scientist, and so she's really good at researching ingredients and studying the the research that's out there and understanding the implications and all this. And so we literally did a 17-month long deep dive into just ingredients. And we went on Amazon and pulled every product off like the first 100 pages, which that will make you go blind if you look, try to scroll through 100 pages on Amazon. Don't do it. I don't recommend it.
Like
Um,
product, animal product wise.
shampoo,
Shampoo.
just shampoos.
Uh-huh.
And where we could capture a screenshot of the ingredient list, we did. So we could get straight from the bottle. But one thing that was astonishing was how many of those products didn't even have their ingredients listed. And I thought, well, how can this be? I mean,
Yeah,
how
that's
how can this
illegal.
literally be? And so we learned through the course of that 17 months that there is zero regulation in the pet grooming product space in the pet industry. Somebody can literally put anything they want in a bottle. They don't have to list their ingredients, or they can just list the ones that don't seem too objectionable, or make something up. You just really don't know what
That's
you're looking at.
crazy.
It is crazy, and it's immoral, and it should be illegal. But it's not. I mean, the USDA, the FDA, none of those governmental agencies will say anything to anybody about their ingredients. And so that kind of set a light off to us that we needed to go the one and only path that did have some regulation, which was through the USDA National Organic Program, and get our products actually certified organic, so that there would be that third party, not just third party validation, but the actual gold standard of third party validation through the National Organic Program. And so, that's not the easy way to go by any means, and it's certainly not the least expensive way to go, but it was the only way that I felt like we could actually be believable, for one, and not just categorized with all the others who were deceptive and misleading, and just doing harm to animals just for the sake of profit. And that didn't wash with us at all. So it's like, whatever it takes, we're going to do this. So my cancer treatment ended up lasting 22 months altogether. It was really long and complicated, but it ended in August of 2015, which was the same month that we had our first four-legger product ready to launch. And so it was just a super neat way of closing one chapter that was hard and dark and difficult, and looking forward, to the future with something that we believed was going to make a difference in the pet industry. Um, when we first started, if you did a search for organic shampoo on Amazon, you wouldn't, there were no results. Now there are thousands, and that's because of us. But it's also because all the other companies that aren't certified organic can still take advantage of saying that they are. Again, because of no regulation, nobody's going to say you can't claim your product's organic. You can't do this if it's not. And the only people that actually are regulated are us. The 1% of the industry that actually is certified organic are the only ones that have any kind of governance over them. So it's backwards. I mean, it's upside down, it's backwards, it's it's all of those things. And so anyway, that's the backstory of Four Legger, and how we got started, and where we've gone from there. We've created a full grooming line, not just shampoos. We have a full grooming line, so that every aspect of a grooming experience is covered, through one of our products, so that there's absolutely no reason to reach outside of the box to pick up something that you need but may not be what your pet needs.
Now, Melissa, down your discovery and your research, your trial and error, did you try four-legger on yourself?
All the time. Yeah, it never got anywhere near we went through many trials, product trials to get the recipe right and to get the process right and to do, the testing to make sure that the pH was right and just, all of the things that we needed in our own minds to make sure that this is a legitimate, this is the real deal. It's something that people can feel safe buying and using on their pet without wondering what else might be in this bottle.
Right. And I met you at Dr. Judy Morgan's event, and you have beautiful hair. So I asked you, you have this like flowing, short, but very clean, very fluffy hair. And I was like, do you use that? And then your answer was,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And
It's
I've
it
used
is
it too.
it's my shampoo, it's my body wash, it's my hand soap. I have it in foamer bottles at every sink in the house. And a bad day for me is when I go on a trip out of town and staying in a hotel and realize I forgot to bring some four-legger and I have to use that horrible stuff that the hotel provides.
Right.
And you come out feeling like you're covered in an oil slick after that when when you've adapted to a truly organic product, having that layer of synthetic residue all over your skin just feels like you're being smothered.
So I didn't know you used it on your skin too. That's good to know. I got a sample of four-legger. I've had a couple samples actually at events. It was part of the gift bag. And so I've used it on myself. I've used it on my dog. But I noticed you have like cedar and like lemongrass in some of them, which would naturally repel fleas too.
Yes, yeah. All of the essential oils that we use are they're not selected just for the scent, although that's important. They have dual purposes, which is to be natural pest deterrents. So lemongrass naturally deters fleas and mosquitoes. Um, Cedar is really good for all of them, fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes. Lavender somewhat, it's not, one of the strongest of the pest deterrents in the essential oils, but it's a pretty good one. And then in our advanced formulation line of shampoos, we have an orange neem, which neem is great for fleas. Um, and another lemongrass option there as well. And then another peppermint and tea tree option, which is really good for.
Yeah. Now I've heard through the grapevine tea tree is unsafe, and now I see some dog products coming out with tea tree shampoos. And gosh, back in the 90s, I was using tea tree and shampoo on my dog, and it was doing a great job on fleas. And then I heard it could kill him, so I quit using it. What's the
Right.
story? Set the story straight here.
Well, Google doesn't know as much as Google thinks it knows. And that's naturally where people go to search for information. And the only thing Google knows is relevance. It doesn't know if a statement is true or if it's false. It just knows how many times it's been replicated over and over. And so it can be a 100% false statement, but if it gets posted on 5,000 different blogs, then it's relevant. And, the people, oh, well, I see this everywhere. It must be true. And the fact is that we have done our guidance, particularly with essential oil use, from Dr. Melissa Shelton from the very beginning, who, in my opinion, is the world's expert on the use of essential oils in veterinary practice and just general maintenance as well. She's in the United States, she's in Minnesota. I mean, fantastic. I know her personally. I've been through her course. But she's been a strong advisor. And then in terms of concentrations and dosage and things like that, there's a reference book by Tisserand and Young, which is a fantastic reference book. And it helps to delineate what the proper dosages and concentrations for essential oils would be in different types of formulations, different types of products. So, tea tree, melaleuca is another name for that. And I think it was one of the first to fall out of favor because of it got picked up with some MLM companies in the 80s, multi-level marketing companies. And if you know what a multi-level marketing company, if you're going to make any money in that kind of an organization, then you have to sell a lot of something and you have to get your downline to sell a lot of something. Well, essential oils are not just unlimited commodities. I mean, they're the natural ones are completely limited. You can't just go out and have an endless supply of that. So necessarily the quality went down because where they initially started with having the very highest quality melaleuca that they could get for tea tree, the demand for it became so much that they had to start settling for lesser quality, lesser quality, lesser quality. And so the impact was it did some harm and it got a little bit of a bad reputation because of that. But it didn't have anything to do with the plant itself. It was entirely about the quality. And then to that, we add also the usage of it. So you have to know the proper application of it. Is this, to be inhaled? Is it, to be an oral type thing, or does it go through the skin? You have to know what the proper application of it is for, and then you have to also know what the proper dosage of it is for the animals that you're going to be using. So those three things in particular have guided every decision that we've made about essential oils. And we get the question a lot. I mean, probably 2 or 3 times a week, somebody will email and say, you use rosemary essential oil, you're going to cause seizures in dogs, or you're using this and that kills dogs. I'm like, well, if that were true, then there's enough dogs and cats and other animals around that they would just literally be falling over dead,
Right.
from all of the essential oils that are out. And, that's never happened. It doesn't happen. And so it's just kind of a ridiculous, and I don't want to say uneducated, but somebody has just taken the word of an unknown, basically, especially if it was the result of an answer gotten from Google, and decided that that was truth without digging any deeper into it. So
That's amazing. I'm glad you clarified that. And I didn't think about the progression of quality or the digression of quality because of the demand, and that makes sense. And I'm sure there's some adulteration, like you said, it's an unregulated industry, so people can adulterate with no consequences.
right. Well, and lavender is the most adulterated essential oil in this country. There is actually more synthetic lavender in the marketplace for humans and pets than there is actual lavender. And we did a test with Dr. Shelton with a bunch of different people in one of the classes that she had, and people couldn't pick out the real lavender.
Wow.
What they knew was the synthetic lavender, because I mean, it's in laundry detergent, it's in air freshener, it's in candles, it's in everything. And people have literally been taught that synthetic lavender is the correct smell for lavender grown in a field in France. I'm like, nope, nowhere near.
That's crazy. That's amazing. So obviously you spend a lot of money on quality essential oils because there is so much fake essential oils out there. Do you buy through Melissa? Is she your supplier?
She is not, for one reason and one reason only. We actually were trying to do a third formulation line that was going to be a veterinary grade or therapeutic level. And her criteria for selecting the essential oils that she uses restricts the availability of a particular oil so much that we couldn't get it in the volume that we needed in order to make a full-blown shampoo line of it. But what we did do as an acceptable option was we created our unscented formulation specifically for her and for the purpose of being able to add one of her essential oil blends to that to make a custom blend.
Nice.
So if you had a dog that just had horrible skin, terrible yeast overgrowth or something like that, you could take her yeasty beastie essential oil blend and put it in our unscented shampoo and also put it in a misting spray for, other uses on non-bath days. And diffuse it. I mean, just all different kinds of applications for it to address really chronic and difficult. So we still that it's like I'm an early to bed and early to risers. It's 8:30 where I am. Sorry about
No
that. But
worries.
um anyway, we work closely with Dr. Shelton, have all kinds of respect for her, and she has just been accessible to us almost from the get-go, and we couldn't be more happy about that relationship.
That's awesome. That what a valuable resource.
Very much so. Very much so.
She was kind of the third link in your success, it sounds like.
Yeah, she's a nut, and she's a lot of fun to be around. She doesn't do a lot of speaking and things like she used to, but she, her knowledge, her wealth of knowledge in her head is just unbelievable.
Cool. Yeah, I've reached out to her before and didn't really hear back from her. And I'd heard that she kind of was taking a break from online stuff.
Yeah, I think she did. And that's okay, but her animal desk reference textbook that you can pick up, I think she sells it on Amazon. That is the best resource that anybody could have that wants to understand, how and when and why to use essential oils. Great. It's it's right back there. Oh, right next to the Tisserand and Young.
That's awesome. So you have other products that you already have established. So the whole grooming experience, tell me about them.
Yeah, we had our first product line was a set of four shampoos, and we refer to that now as kind of the general use line. So it's the minimalist line. It has the least amount of ingredients in it, and it's more for dogs that don't necessarily have any kind of chronic skin or coat condition going on. They're just dirty and they need a bath. So there's a good option there. And then we made our advanced formulation line, which is for the dog that may have something a little more chronic or a little more set in going on, like yeast, for example, or some other bacterial or viral or fungal issue going on, anything. And so there's four in that line as well. And one of those is our cooling. It's called cooling, and it's our peppermint tea tree formulation. And in just the last, I don't know, 3, 4 years, especially, I've been very diligent in introducing that to a lot of the holistic veterinarians that are in our community. And many of them are now recommending that as a natural alternative to medicated shampoo. It's
Awesome.
it's that good. I mean, it's a fantastic formulation. I've got a dog that is a yeasty beast, and that's what she gets her bath in, and it makes a huge difference with her. Um, Then we have a skin balm that is good for obviously nose and paws, or kind of the skin areas on dogs that jump out at people that really take a beating. But any kind of focal skin area, maybe a bug bite or a hot spot or an abrasion or anything like that, it's super good. We use a different type of wax than most of the wax products are, the balm products that are available. Ours is a plant-based carnauba wax.
Oh,
And so it's very thin. It doesn't give you the heavy wax protective barrier that is usually the reason why people want a wax product for their dog's paws. The problem with that is dogs sweat, through their paws. And so if that gets blocked or slowed down at all, then that can cause things to back up in their system and lead to some other problems. So we chose a softer wax that absorbs super, super fast, and it has a lot of healing characteristics with it as well. We have a dental powder for oral hygiene.
I had no idea. Tell me
Yeah,
about it.
it's very simple. It's based on canine physiology, which is very similar to human physiology, where we all have enzymes in our own saliva that helps to combat germs and bacteria in the mouth. And so we use three simple ingredients: sea salt, very fine granulated sea salt. Not granulated, it's actually a powder. Sorry, a bug.
You're like,
Whoa, what was that? Um, which is actually the ingredient that stimulates the salivary glands. And so that's what kind of kicks it off. And then the sea salt is actually a little, just a tiny bit abrasive, so it helps to clean the teeth. Baking soda is the second ingredient, and that helps to protect the enamel and get rid of tartar and plaque. And then peppermint essential oil is an anti-inflammatory oil. So if a dog happens to have red or inflamed, irritated gums, it's very cooling to the mouth, and it makes the breath smell a little bit better too. So it's a it's a unique product too. I don't know of any other powder that's really out there that's um, not meant to be mixed with something to make it more of a paste. You can do that. A lot of people will use Cocoa Therapy's MCT oil or one of their oils, and mix a little bit with that. But it takes just a tiny bit, because you're literally just trying to stimulate the salivary glands. And
wow.
once you see that happening, then it's just a matter of cleaning the teeth with the product that's already in their mouth. Um, so that's our dental powder. And then we got a question early on about, my dog gets stinky between baths, and can I just spray my perfume on my dog? Like, no, and don't spray it on you either. That stuff's
Oh
toxic.
my gosh.
So we made a set of deodorizing sprays that are essential oil based as well, and mainly just purified water and essential oil and a little bit of a carrier oil to help keep it together. And it's meant to be used on non-bath days. One, to help your dog continue to smell fresh, but more importantly, to keep a layer of essential oil support on their skin and coat all the days in between their bath. And that helps to promote, over time, it helps to promote a healthier coat, so that from bath to bath to bath, the skin and coat's getting healthier and healthier if you're very consistent with that. Um, and then the final product that we have is, we called it a conditioning rinse. It's an apple cider vinegar based conditioning rinse, and it has a lot of other ingredients in it too that are very beneficial for skin and coat health. And it's amazing. That has turned out to be a real workhorse of a product. I truly think apple cider vinegar could probably save the world if the right person was recommending usage of it. But it's amazing. It's a great deep conditioner. So a
I was
dog,
I was just gonna ask you, it sounds like you're not into conditioners. And I know a lot of human hair conditioners, a lot of people are allergic to them. They're very gunky, they get your pores clogged, they can cause some harm to your hair. So this apple cider vinegar rinse, it's a rinse. Do you wash it off or do you
you
on?
you don't have to, and it's very thin. It's definitely not like the silicone based, human conditioners that people are accustomed to. It's not going to be you hold the bottle up and wait for it to pour out. It's not thick. It's definitely on the thin side, more liquidy. Um, but it's a great conditioner, especially for deep conditioning, on a like in conjunction with a bath. If you have a dog that's um just got a lot of skin issues, or maybe is matted somewhat, and you just need to really work it in there. And we originally intended that it would be rinsed off, but then we're getting feedback. We've got a great community. They tell us everything, the good, the bad, that bug.
So
Um,
I use apple cider vinegar as a rinse occasionally in my hair because it cleans the scalp
mhm.
and it just like pulls all the previous stuff, all your old thick conditioner, like you said, and kind of resets the pH of your hair. And I love it. I don't use it very often because it's so acidic that I was worried that you could overuse it. Could you overuse that product?
I don't think so. I mean, the concentration in it is low, but it's sufficient to do its job. So I was really worried about that product initially because my thought was, who wants their dog to smell like vinegar? And it's not vinegary. You get a little whiff of it, but it's not vinegary at all. It's got lemongrass essential oil, it's got orange essential oil, lang lang, rose hip. It's got a ton of other ingredients in it that offer benefits, for the skin and coat too. But one of the big uses that came up to be, two big ones. A lot of times when people are transitioning to organic shampoo for the first time, they've been using something and they may even have thought this, what I'm using is organic. Probably not, but okay. But what they would find with some coats, and it typically was dogs that had a more naturally oily coat to begin with, like Yorkies, or is one I can think of. German Shepherds kind of have an oily or coat than other dogs, and they were using our organic shampoo for the first time, and they didn't like the feel of their dog's coat after the bath. And we got descriptions like it felt tacky, it felt waxy. And what that is our shampoo didn't cause that. Our shampoo revealed the level of synthetic residue that was on that dog's coat, and the owner had no idea it was there.
Wow.
And so what's happening was the synthetics in whatever they were using was binding to the oils that we use to make our shampoo. It's a saponified oil, so a soap-based product. And it would bind with that, and so it would leave that little bit of a heaviness or waxiness to the coat. But the solution with that is simple: get all that residue washed off and cleaned off, and then your dog's natural coat can emerge out from under all that. And with most, not even most dogs go through that. I would say maybe 20% of dogs even go through that. But for the ones that do, it's a great visual for the pet parents to see. I had no idea that much stuff was built up on my dog's coat.
That's
And yeah, but usually just 2 or 3 baths and that's cleaned off. So that was one big purpose for that, or a good use for that. And then the other was we have a lot of hikers and campers that use four-legger because all our products are biodegradable.
oh nice.
And yeah, and so they were using our shampoos already when they were going out hiking and camping and stuff like that. But a few started taking the ACV product when they were going, and would write back and say, I spritzed my dog's legs and underbelly and hiney and just kind of all over with that before we went out on the trail, and they came back with no bites, no fleas, no ticks, no nothing latched onto them. And it's like, okay, we'll start marketing it that way too.
That's amazing. That's such a perk. Yeah, I don't think ticks like apple cider vinegar.
Right, right. Yeah, not many things like apple cider vinegar. And with good reason. It's a strong scent, but it's pretty tame in our product. And we have sometimes people ask me what's a ingredient that you use in your product that nobody would suspect or even think of to use. And probably our biggie is organic vodka, which is really
Oh,
interesting because I don't drink. So
well, and it's
anyway,
funny because so many pet products have alcohol in them,
yeah, right,
being alcohol. And
right.
and to me, I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. That can't be healthy. And during COVID, some people rubbed their dogs down with alcohol wipes.
Yes, isopropyl alcohol is the most drying thing on the planet, but plant-based vodka doesn't have that same effect, and we also use it in a low concentration, but it's a great astringent. It's
Is it a
sanitizer.
preservative? Is it a preservative because of
It is
alcohol?
a preservative. It's a disinfectant. And for the reason that we put it in our conditioning product is because, people want their dog's hair to be smooth and nice and not be all wild and unruly. Well, vodka helps to close the follicles on the hair shaft so that the gunk can't get down in there, and it makes the whole hair nice and smooth. So
That's incredible.
who is that?
Now I want to put vodka on my hair.
Yeah. Is
Let's
that
say
Julie? Oh,
Ella too.
that's
This
Julie.
is Julie. Let me bring
Hey, Julie.
Julie.
And Candy.
It's Julie and Candy. There
And I
you
have
Yeah.
some questions.
Let's do it, Julie.
I usually rinse the girls in apple cider vinegar cut with water. Gigi's skin is a hot mess right now after the cone of shame. It irritated her whole neck. She ended up with all these sores. She ended up losing a lot of hair there, which is not growing back yet. And she keeps getting bug bites on her toes because welcome to Florida. So I've stopped using it. Will this irritate all that if I get the Restore? I mean, I'm
No.
afraid of doing the apple cider vinegar the way I
It,
do it.
yeah, and no, it should help. I mean, it's meant to help normalize everything kind of on at the skin level. So if there's an overproduction of sebum or an underproduction of sebum in particular, is just as an example, it's going to help to regulate that so it's normal for your dog. So I mean I would definitely give it a try and see what you think. I mean, if you're using it in a topical manner like that, not necessarily in conjunction with the bath, you just hand apply it, just a small amount. You're not trying to saturate the coat at all, and you don't rinse it off. Just leave it on there.
Okay. And I've been using the unscented or the lavender shampoo. I mean, she's just so irritated. Is the cooling with the peppermint going to be aggravating her a little bit? Sometimes I put Yeasty Beastie from Melissa Shelton in there in the unscented.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a process. Ever since
Yeah.
Judy's event, it has been a nightmare with her skin.
Mm.
But it's mostly
Well,
her feet, and then she starts chewing at it, and then her chest. But she lost hair on the side of her body too, because she's trying to get to her neck, so she's scratching.
Right,
She's in a t-shirt
right.
most of the time.
I would use the ACV on her feet, just, rub it on top and bottom and just leave it. And
Regular
see,
ACV or the Restore.
no, our Restore.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause when
our
I come in
ACV
from
product.
walks, I always take a wet washcloth and
Mhm,
spritz it with water and apple cider vinegar, and I
mhm,
do the body and the top.
yeah.
But
Well, it could be just too much. I mean, everybody's different, right? You know
I
that everybody's different. And so what creates a sensitivity in one animal may not be the same threshold that will create a sensitivity in another animal or be an irritant in this case. So,
I think a lot of her problem, there are a lot of ants on our walks, and I think they just
mm,
keep biting her feet, and then she starts getting itching and biting, and it's been a process. She had to wear socks for 2 days because I was just trying to get her to stop biting.
well, put that on before she goes out for a walk and it may deter the ants altogether.
I've
So that,
actually went back to doing more Melissa's stuff on her feet, and that's helped.
yeah.
Oh, and I do
Yeah.
love the neem.
What?
Neem oil. Neem oil's
Oh, okay.
amazing. Nothing, no critter likes neem.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
I use it to repel men too. It works really good that way.
And then
Well,
go on.
no, go ahead.
My other question is with the dental. I didn't realize you had a dental. I do cocoa therapy with either Melissa's dog
Dog
breath
breath. Yeah.
or with Dr. Judy's whatever dental, whatever it's called, mixed in. But the problem is they're so into the coconut oil, it's hard to brush. With yours, I just read the instructions. You just wet a toothbrush and dip it in and do it. You don't mix it with anything.
I actually don't like a toothbrush. That is what our instructions say, but
I use a finger. I use a 360 finger.
I
thing.
use a little piece of medical gauze
Okay.
and put it around my finger and wet it, and then I put just a tiny little dab of the powder in my other palm and just lift it up with that
Mhm.
from the wet gauze. That gives you enough agitation on the
Okay.
teeth and the gum lines without being irritating. And some people will mix it with oil, some people will mix it just with water just to make more of a paste, but it's entirely preference. The
And
main thing is just don't use too much.
the problem is coconut oil is like they're junkies, and it's like
Yeah.
they're biting my finger and they're trying
Yeah.
to. It's hard. I mean,
Yeah.
Candy watches me brush Gigi's teeth and like the tongue's going and she salivates like Palvo's dog. It's very funny.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's definitely best to start young for sure. Where the dogs at home, they started when they were not puppies, because you need to wait till their puppy teeth are gone and their adult teeth are actually in before you really start worrying about that anyway. But we just trained them, 8 o'clock every night, let's go to the bathroom. And eventually it got to where the sitting on the commode seat throne was where the the teeth brushing occurred for the dogs. And they would, after they understood, okay, this is what we're going to do. We didn't do it every night, but at 8 o'clock on the nights that we did it, they would go in there and one of them would jump up on the commode seat and just sit there until somebody came and brushed her teeth.
That's hilarious.
We do it on the washing machine.
Yeah.
But I started her the first week that I had, like after the first week home, I was in with the toothbrush just to get her
Yeah.
used to it, and the coconut oil. The girls did a whole thing
Yeah.
spread. Not you probably saw it on cocoa therapy. I was like, we're starting young.
Well, it's good to start as young as you can, just so that they get used to you working in their mouth and being in there, doing things. So they're not alarmed by that. But the dogs that have the hardest time going to our natural dental powder is the ones that have been using some bacon flavored something, or it's
Peanut
like,
butter.
peppermint, I'd rather have the bacon.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more of a challenge. So definitely the sooner you start, and with a healthier product like that, it's going to be easier
gonna
for your
get
dog.
You're not at AHVMA, are you? Oh, I didn't see you on the,
Not this year. No, not this year. Yeah.
not
I might
order.
Where is it this year, you guys?
West Palm,
West
Oh, it
Palm.
is. It's in Florida. That's right. And it's
Yeah.
September.
September 5th through
Oh my
9th or
God.
something like that.
Yeah, it's coming
And
up.
right in the middle of hurricane season. I'm
Mhm.
working
I
in two different
know.
booths. I know that's what kills me because I mean, for me, it's only a 2-hour drive or so. So we're
Yeah,
all
but
going
it's
down.
hurricane season. I thought about going. My vet represents Regina Zone. She owns Regina Zone, the ozone company. So she's giving a lecture there.
Is
And
that Jill Rubin?
yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going out to dinner with her on Friday night.
Oh, good.
With Jill Nasmick and I are orchestrating dinners, but we're at odds. Jill, I'm like, let's just stay in the hotel. You know me, but it's a steakhouse and it's expensive. It has some other things too, and like Chelsea and a couple.
Well, hopefully it's not like that darn Japanese that we both got
We all
sick
got
at.
sick. But then you can walk like 5-10 minutes and go to Cheesecake Factory, which is where both Jills and whatever go. But the thing is, it's rainy season. I'm like, I'm not walking. And after setting up and having to get up next day, no, we're staying in the hotel. So we're going to probably do 2 groups now.
Yeah. So there's some questions in Facebook. So Marie Jackson is asking what is actually in the spray.
Purified water, the essential oil, a little bit of rosehip oil is a carrier, and a little bit of olive oil.
I love rosehip.
Yeah. It's not oily at all. I mean, it's mainly water, and then, the lower concentrations of the other ingredients, but it comes in a pretty cool bottle. We keep it in, it's made out of Myron glass. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's
No.
German made, and it is a really deep, it looks black, but it's really just such a dark, dark, dark purple bottle, but it looks black. But it eliminates all of the harmful light rays, UV light rays, and all that, so that you actually don't even have to use a preservative in it. And anything that's in that glass will last forever. And it's
Amazing.
yeah, there's some really good research, interesting research on it. If you just look up Myron glass and see what they did to when they were developing it to ensure that it was blocking out all the harmful lights that cause whatever ingredients that are inside it to begin to degrade. And it's a great product. It comes in lemongrass, lavender, peppermint, orange, and rose.
And that's your apple cider vinegar spray.
No, those are the deodorizing sprays, the
Okay.
ones that were for the perfume question.
Okay. Right on. And
Yeah.
I think it's Myron glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, it's darker than that. Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
blue.
that actually looks more blue up here. It doesn't when I'm holding it.
yeah.
Yeah, that looks very blue.
I don't have
Trisha-
one in here.
In
Trisha,
person, it looks like black, but when I hold it up to there, it's blue. It's weird.
Trisha's asking about your shampoo. Do you use it and then wait and then rinse it off? Do you let it sit? And it's low sudsing, right?
No, it's high sudsing.
Oh,
It's very yeah,
on
it's
Monster?
that's
little
one
on
of
the
the
lo-
that's one of the myths about organic shampoo, is that it doesn't suds up. But that's if you're using organic shampoo that doesn't suds up, it wasn't properly saponified. And so we actually over saponify, which is just to make sure all of the potassium hydroxide is out of it, which is what causes the oils to turn into soap. Okay, it's cook it in a big 50-gallon cauldron and regulate the heat, and we actually test to make sure all the potassium hydroxide is out of it before we call it done. And if you don't get all of that out, then it leaves enough of the oil. We use olive, jojoba, and coconut oil to saponify. It leaves enough of the oil characteristics in it to make it a low suds option. So, or low suds product, which nobody wants. We Americans associate cleanliness with
Bubbles.
blowing up lather. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. I like my lather. And so we figured out how to saponify it correctly so that the trick with organic shampoo is it loves water. So because it's naturally concentrated, meaning we don't add any artificial or synthetic thickeners or fluff or, anything else into it just to create bulk. Um, you use just a very little bit of shampoo and a lot of water. And really, with your dog, the best way is to just start with your dog really wet to begin with, and then just run a little line down it and start sudsing it up. But it will suds up as good as any commercial non-organic shampoo in the market.
I wonder on me if my hair's a little on the oily side, if it's just working on that oil, because I was like, oh, it doesn't suds very much, but maybe I wasn't using enough.
It could be. Well, usually if it's not sudsing, you're using too much shampoo.
Oh,
So put the shampoo down and add a little more water to the
excellent.
mix.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Trisha's asking if you start with the yeast bacteria shampoo and the skin clears, what is the best option to use during non-flares?
That's a great question,
It is,
actually.
isn't it?
Yes, it's a great question. We have always recommended for all of our advanced formulation lines to just use those when you're in a flare up. And then once it's under control, go back to one of the general use shampoos just for cleaning, and maintenance sort of a thing. So, now a lot of our people just, they like that peppermint tea tree and they're going to use that peppermint tea tree every time. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just, you can't overuse it by any means. That's the only shampoo my dog gets a bath in because she is a yeasty, beastie nightmare. And that if I try to use any of the other shampoos of our shampoos on her, her coat doesn't do as well. And so if I stick with that one, then that is what gives her maintenance. So but you can go back to any of them, or you can just stick with the one you have. It doesn't matter. They all have, and maybe this will better answer it. They all have the same soap base. So it's just a matter of what are the ingredients that we added to the soap base for each particular formulation. So for cleansing, for maintenance, you're going to get that conditioning out of all of them. It's just the other ingredients, which are determined by what your purpose is for selecting that one.
And then Marie Jackson was asking, does diet play a part? And I have to say a resounding yes.
100%. I never, ever, ever anymore talk to somebody about shampoo because here's the way it goes. I get an email. My dog is itchy. What shampoo do I use? Okay, why is your dog itchy? What do you feed your dog? I mean, we have to go into all of that because most yeast is not from an external source. It comes from the gut. It comes from an internal disruption in the immune system. And so, I mean, it's really rare that a dog is going to have yeast that they just picked up from some kind of external source, that they walked through something and got it. So because gut health is so important with maintaining a healthy immune system, then absolutely food makes a huge difference. And that's actually one of the focal areas we've been hitting at this year because food has become such a big deal. To me, there's three things you have to get right in order to have a chance at a healthy dog with a long life. That is, they have to have the right food, the right nutrition. They have to have a responsible vaccination protocol and limited medications, not always reaching for pharmacological solutions right off the bat. Try homeopathics, try holistics. And then you have to have your exposure to external or environmental toxins controlled. And that's where grooming products fall in. None of those work in isolation. So you have to get the gut right. You have to get their vaccination and medication schedule right. And then you have to get their grooming right in terms of those products. And the reason is if you, I mean, you could be buying the most expensive species appropriate diet there is out there. But if you're still bathing them in what is essentially a bottle of toxic goo, you're still creating a burden on that dog's immune system that is going to be adversely impacted and not allow the good food that you're feeding to be able to have its maximum benefit.
Good information. Absolutely. I always tell everybody if their doggy smells dog, if you have a doggy smelling dog, that there's something very off within their internal system because healthy dogs don't smell doggy.
True, exactly.
Yeah.
And
I've had people say, oh, I'm allergic to dogs. I'm like, no, you're allergic to unhealthy dogs because when dogs are healthy, they are barely allergic at all to people. But when they're unhealthy, they smell dirty, they smell oily, they just emit, they attract more fleas. It just magnet.
100%. I've got both of those dogs at home. One of them just smells, has a nice, pleasant smell day after bath and 3 weeks after bath. She still smells good. And then my little yeasty nightmare smells like a locker room,
Yeah.
you know.
The free toe chips.
Yeah, I mean, she just, and I can tell that poor dog, she's a rescue. And so I don't know exactly what happened during her first few months. There's always one.
There's always one that just shows up to be in the live stream.
Yeah, but because dogs that come through the shelter system have to get vaccinated, they have to get fixed, they have to all that before they can be adopted out. And so my dog Bailey was an owner surrender, and it turns out she ended up having 2 full sets of puppy vaccines before she was even a year old, and
They
it
do it
just
all the
broke
time.
her. It just broke her immune system.
And that's
And
her problem.
she's going to be 9 this year. I mean, she's in a great place to get a lot of, help with all that, but it's a battle that never goes away for sure. I mean, she can go through periods where she's calm and doesn't stink and but then she'll get into a toxic overload, and you can just tell her body is trying to shed some of this stuff out, and that's when she really starts getting the stinks.
Melissa, have you entertained the thought of adding probiotics to your shampoos? I know it's a trending thing right now.
No, and for one reason, we did a lot of research on it because we were getting that question a lot. There are not any, I won't say any, because never say never. There are not any that I know of, any probiotics that will absorb into the skin at a level that is sufficient for really anything. I mean, most probiotics don't even survive the gut, if you if you give it the way that it's meant to be. But I don't. And the other thing is, most probiotics will be destroyed by the preservative.
By the processing aspect. Yeah, that makes sense. What about charcoal? I use charcoal a lot in my baths.
We have not. and there's no reason for it. We just haven't pulled at that thread yet. But I mean, I know that there are shampoos out there that use charcoal, and it has a lot of good uses.
Yeah, even toothbrushes with charcoal. I always keep powdered charcoal around. If my dog steps in anything poisonous, I just put it in a Ziploc bag, put a little water in it, soak his paw in it, and pull it out that way. It works great, and it works great topically on, all those people that burnt their dog with flea and tick meds, or even essential oils. You can just powder them down with charcoal. Don't let them aspirate on it.
Right.
Let it sit there out of the water, and it will suck it out.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Good to know.
I'm a charcoal freak, actually. But I had some horses. This is one of my questions. Can you use your product on horses?
Yes.
Do you have
We
a horse line?
No, but people use our lemongrass shampoo for that. And if there's some reason to not have a scent, they'll use the unscented for that. But we have a label for a horse line. We just never have gone through with the whole process of it yet. But considering where I live, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
To not, with all the thoroughbred horse farms and everything around here, it would definitely be a good match. But yeah, we've got horses, uh, pigs, mini pigs, ferrets, guinea pigs, cats, dogs. Did I say rabbits? I don't
No.
remember. Um, all using four-legger products.
And so it's definitely safe for cats.
Yes, there's a few that we steer away from. The orange neem. Neem is not an ingredient that cats need to ingest. Not that they would, but in grooming, they would get there. There's just no reason to risk it if given the amount of other options that there are from our line. Peppermint, people say, is toxic to cats. It's really not. They just don't prefer the smell of peppermint.
Well, and there's so much synthetic peppermint.
Yes,
The
exactly.
Christmas smelling peppermint always makes me feel like it's synthetic.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that. There's just a lot of adulteration with essential oils to use synthetics because it's cheaper. I mean, it's a lot less expensive to make, and
And it goes rancid fast.
yeah, it does go rancid fast, and it's not natural. So, it doesn't have a place with us.
What's the shelf life on your shampoo? Since it's natural and it's pure ingredients, does it have a shorter shelf life?
I don't think so. I mean, we print a 3-year shelf life. I mean, if you can't go through a bottle of shampoo in 3 years, something's wrong anyway. But well, I mean, we keep samples of every lot of product that we manufacture just for historical purposes. And I still have shampoo that's 7, 8 years old, and I would use it. So
That's amazing. I love that you keep that. That's such a cool idea that you keep a lot, one of your lots.
yeah, I keep a sample from every lot, and it's for that purpose, so we can see over time and how it's kept. I mean, we recommend keeping it in a cool, dark place out of direct sunlight. And so, if you store it properly and always tighten the cap down so, there's no air getting in, even if it's just a little bit of air. Air and light and heat are what degrade natural ingredients.
I
And
think I
so,
gotta move my product then. I have it in the shower and I think the cap's up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, at the rate that you're going through it, it's probably fine. But you'll know if an organic product is starting to go bad, stuff will start growing in it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you'll think, oh, I didn't see that before,
Well, in
Um,
like you said, the vodka is probably really a great preservative on that.
It is in that one product. That's the only product that we have the vodka in though. So
Oh.
it's, yeah, that's not across the board.
So
That's
I'm
just,
not gonna drink your shampoo.
yeah. You could, but it probably wouldn't taste very good.
Yeah, might be.
I have a
blow up.
question. Oops,
Hold
sorry.
on, Julie, let me feature you.
Melissa, can
Yeah.
you see her neck? That's where she scratched all the hair out.
Dang.
And it's also on her side. It's now finally not red or scabby. And she also lost on one of her sides from scratching so much. Let me put her down before she has a fit. Is there something I could do? I know rosemary's good for growing hair back. Do you have any products? She's also very greasy feeling, but that might be from me doing the spray. I'm doing Clydal Silver on her now, but
Do the cooling, the peppermint tea tree.
okay, I'm gonna get that
100%. Yeah, get that.
and the restore. And
Yep.
Um, and then, her problems, I was going to say the same thing. She was 2 years old and she had her second series of vax, I'm sure, when she was rescued, unless the first set people didn't do it. So that's 90% of her problem too.
Right.
She's a hot mess. Okay.
Julie,
So-
are you doing homeopathy for that?
No. Well, yeah, since I got for Candy, the rebalancer, I've been using that. And I actually see a little bit of a difference in Gigi, I think.
You might try it topically.
Okay.
Yeah, you could use calendula homeopathic or calendula flowers and make a tea, or marshmallow root like baby powder.
All right, well, you and I have to talk. I'm getting more and more into the homeopath. I also want to talk to you about the other. How often, since she gets oily and greasy and she has the skin stuff up, is too much to watch her? Should I wash her once a week at this point?
You can wash her every day if you
Okay.
need to. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
there's no harm. We have a lot of dogs that use our products that are incontinent, and so I mean, they literally have to have at least a half a body wash multiple times a day, and they use our shampoo for that, and it's fine. But that cooling peppermint tea tree and the restore apple cider vinegar rinse is a real powerhouse duo for that. And I would just put the bather. um you could try every day. I mean, she might object to that, but every couple of days, or just whatever. And then on non-bath days, use the restore and put it on that area. Put it all over, but especially put it on the area where there's no hair growing, because that's going to help keep sebum in control. I mean, that's what makes them oily. There's sebum production's out of control for whatever reason, and that's going to help to keep that clean and dry, so that doesn't become an issue in between baths.
I mean, it's such a catch-22 because if I don't put a t-shirt on her, she's scratching away and taking out balls of hair. If I put the t-shirt on, then it gets all hot, sweaty, and oily. And I
Yeah,
try to keep it off part of the day and at night once she starts getting sleepy. And all day I'm just, Gigi, stop, Gigi, stop.
yeah,
Oh.
It's
yeah.
like and I feel bad for her. You know how you are when you itch, you want to scratch it. But we're better. We are like 99% better, but she's a hot mess.
Well, I mean, I let Bailey tell me when she needs a bath. And the way she does is she starts scratching more. I mean, that's my cue. Okay, her skin's uncomfortable and she needs a rinse off. And sometimes it doesn't even have to involve shampoo. Just rinse them
Right.
off. Whatever, allergens have jumped on, and especially being in Florida, out walking and stuff, you can get just stuff on your skin that just doing a water rinse is better than
That's right. When we
nothing.
come in, I do the washcloth with the water and the apple cider vinegar, and now I'm doing the top, the bottom, everywhere, and wherever she's really itchy, just to get whatever I can off. What is it okay to buy on Amazon, or should I go direct to you? Is it better, different
We
quality? Your
we
Amazon
don't
store?
yeah, we don't sell the restore on Amazon. We're actually getting off of Amazon.
Okay.
They're not a good business partner. I mean,
Okay.
they're popular, but it's not a good arrangement for any of us kind of specialty small sellers, it's just their cut is too much. And it's, you know, you just have to remember whoever you're buying from, that's who you're supporting first, not necessarily the small business behind that.
So Melissa,
So,
how do we get a hold of you?
I'll order from you then.
oh, thank you, Julie. www.fourlegger.com.
Okay,
And it's the number 4. It's not spelled out. It's number 4. You can put a dash, but you don't have to. We have it both ways, so you'll
okay.
get to us.
Like on your t-shirt.
Yes, exactly.
Yep,
Yep, no hyphen.
okay, excellent. And any other questions, you guys, on Facebook? Demodex.
Uh, medicated and harsh. Can be harsh. I mean, I'm just not the sort that's gonna, I mean, if your veterinarian says you need to use this or you need to use chlorhexidine or whatever, then maybe give it a try. But, you know, my first reach now, in light of four-legger, how we got here and where I am in my own, you know, journey as being a cancer survivor now, I'm just not willing to really reach first for harsh chemicals. Give natural a try first. It could be that the situation is too far gone, too far advanced. I mean, I'm not anti-medicine at all. I'm just not first reach for that anymore. And I feel like it definitely has a place, but I wouldn't be here, you know, if it weren't for traditional uh, cancer treatment. I wouldn't be here without chemo and radiation and all of that. So it has a place, but just make it be the proper place, and that's not necessarily first.
Yeah, I had a dog with some pretty gnarly Demodex, and I had to revert to some oral medication, but topically I used like a pine tar shampoo, and that worked really good. I was really impressed. So I'm kind of a pine tar fan.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
Tar.
it's like for dandruff and stuff like that. Yeah, it worked. I was shocked. One of my clients told me that they had cured their dog's Demodex with it, and it was like Neutrogena or something like that.
Oh,
It's tough
see.
to find, and
But
it
I'm sorry. See, it's late. You're talking about a skin condition, not a shampoo product.
no, it
Yeah.
was a shampoo that they made, a pine tar shampoo, and so
Hmm.
it's hard to find, but
Hmm.
it did work pretty good. So check it out, because maybe Four Legger is going to come out with a charcoal pine tar solution.
Charcoal pine tar.
Right.
CPT.
I love that. Give me a little credit on that, okay?
I will. Yeah.
All right. So you guys head on over to fourlegger.com for
Let me throw one more thing in.
yes.
When you're on our website, you'll see up in the top left corner a link that goes to a shampoo ingredient database. That is something that we made 5 years ago. That is the culmination of all of the 17 months worth of ingredient research that we did in the first place. We put that into a format so that it's actually beneficial now and not just sitting in my computer anymore. So we made an ingredient database so that you can sit down with your bottles of products, whatever you're using, and look up the ingredients online using the first name of the letter of the ingredient that it starts with. And we're going to break down the information into the 3 things that you really need to know. And that is this ingredient a synthetic or is it a natural ingredient? How safe is it? And that's on a scale. And then is it an ingredient that even could be certified organic? Because everybody says their stuff's organic now. And then based on the safety rating that came back for the ingredient that you're looking up, if in the literature from veterinary science, from human science, PubMed, all of the legitimate peer-based journals, research sources, if there's any health condition that has ever been linked to that ingredient, we're going to tell you what it is.
Nice.
So
I love
this ingredient is a carcinogen. This ingredient is a neurotoxin. This ingredient could be,
kidney compromising.
yeah, it's just, it's a great website. It's free. We don't charge anything for it because I personally feel like everybody that is responsible enough to own an animal should be able to get as much information about how to keep their animal healthy as they can without, it being a cumbersome thing. And there's a place on it if you're looking up an ingredient and it happens not to be there, there's a link to request a review, and you can send in the name of the ingredient. And my business partner, as I mentioned, is a scientist. She'll do the research on it, add it back to the database with all of those criteria in place so that it's always dynamic, it's always growing, and always
Really,
educational.
how excellent is that? So it doesn't even have to be ingredients in your product. It's just all common traditional.
Yes, it's all those ingredients that we screenshotted off of Amazon way back when. And I mean, so all the bad stuff, our ingredients are in there too. We don't leave anything out. But it's a standalone website. It's not part of our, because it's just to research. That's just where you go to research. You can't buy anything there. You have to go back to Four Legger when you.
Okay, so that's linked to your four-legger website. Should I pull that up for people?
You can, yeah. If you pull up Four Legger, and then I can show you.
Okay, let me clean off my screen.
Yeah. Looks like
Melissa,
mine.
on my website, I did something similar like that for food. Can I, and I don't sell product anymore, but I do my favorite things. If I do your shampoo, can I link to that for my people to go to?
Um, I'll have to get with our tech person to see about that.
Okay, I'll reach out to you.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's up here at the top, research pet shampoo ingredients on the left side up above the logo.
Oh, up above the logo right there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to take you off of Four Legger and onto this ingredient database.
Wow, look how amazing.
And yeah, if you just keep scrolling down there, you'll see kind of there's the natural or synthetic, how safe is it, can it be organic, and then off to the right there, if there's any health considerations that you should be aware of.
I love this. And I love the little emojis.
Yeah.
The very bad face.
Yeah, it's very bad. It's very, very bad.
That makes it very easy to know.
Yeah, it's wanted it to be not only just a bunch of words, but visually, um, give enough visual cues so you could see kind of at a glance. Nah, I don't really want to use this.
I didn't realize charcoal can't be organic.
There's a lot of natural. This one will get you. The reason that our shampoos are certified organic to the food standard, but not the USDA seal standard, is because water is the bulk of the liquid in the product, and water is not organic.
Wow, I never knew that.
Salt is not organic. I mean, there's all kinds of naturally occurring um, ingredients or elements that are not able to be organic.
You know what? My mind's blown right now. I know, like, I've never bought organic water in my whole life, have I?
No, you haven't.
That is insanity. Wow.
Yep.
And there's no organic salt?
There's a lot of things that there's no organic of, and it's just, it doesn't mean it's not naturally occurring. That's, you know, below organic, then the next best is naturally occurring.
Well,
And obviously an ingredient that is safe to use for humans and animals, not
yeah, because there's a lot of poisonous now.
exactly.
Like and hemlock.
Exactly. Arsenic and
Excellent.
So
Thank you for your time. I know it's late for you.
that's okay.
This was a blast, and Trisha says she's already on your website ordering.
Great. Yeah, y'all do. I'll because this is our 10-year anniversary, we're having a sale for the rest of the month that's 25% off. So don't, for sure shop this week.
Get it
Before
done,
that.
guys. You heard it. We'll leave this up on the live stream and people can jump on your website and get their deal.
Perfect.
Right on. Happy anniversary.